Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Crypto over on the Piper Academy channel. What do we say around here? You're usually the host.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning to your edge and financial freedom.
I
And
think this is streaming to both your account and Piper Academy.
is it?
I think so.
Well, I can definitely look to see if it is. Let's see.
But anyway, let's just go ahead and you can delete that later. Doesn't matter. So yeah,
Oh,
hey,
wow.
what's going on? What do we got? What are we going to be talking about today? What do you got on our docket today for our news? Since you do got to be getting out of here sooner than than usual.
Yeah. Well, I have the same article that I had pulled up for the other day that we didn't get to. It's the Chinese stimulus. I know there was some big news yesterday. I don't know how much I really want to touch on it unless David wants to touch on it. But big news in the Middle East. Just your average tiff over there.
Looking like a little bit of tit for tat.
Yeah,
They're just gonna
just
keep going back and forth until everybody gets tired of the oil prices going up.
yeah, just dumping markets. Yeah, I actually looked at the stock heat map, and pretty much the only thing up right now is the oil. So
Now, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
yeah,
Oil prices were getting a little low.
we didn't go over there for oil at any point in my lifetime. We've never done that. So
What is oil? I don't even know what oil is.
yeah, it doesn't make the world go round or anything.
Please let us know in the chat um, if the sound is good. You can hear us fine. You can hear Blackie Chan fine, or BC Port Corp, and myself, and that you are watching over on Piper Academy. It says we're live, so, but it's
Yep,
not. Yeah, it's
I'm
like it.
seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm watching us with the delay. So
Okay. Good. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and dive right on in. I don't have the notepad pulled up. Oh God.
well,
Uh
apparently you don't have you pulled up either.
oh.
That's a
Uh,
nice channel you got drawn there, sir.
My light just took out my camera in itself. Go ahead, come on, talk. Leave me alone. Here,
Well,
I'm gonna go to just you. Okay. You got
do me
anything
into
pulled
my
up?
screen share. Yeah, I've got the stock heat map
All
pulled
right,
up.
let's go.
So, all right. Well, for the stock heat map, everything's looking pretty red. We've got Apple down 2.91%. We've got Nvidia sitting down 3.66. We've got Berkshire Hathaway down 0.62%. We've got Amazon sitting down 0.64%. We've got GE sitting down 1.2. As we had said, you have your oil that is sitting nice and green almost across the board. There's just one laggard. You've got utilities as well. So energy is sitting pretty nice off of our conflict. We've got Tesla sitting down 1.38%. We got Visa sitting up 0.96%. Eli Lilly is sitting down 0.16%. We've got Microsoft down 2.23%. Google's up 0.69% and Meta's up 0.7. So,
How are those defense stocks looking?
um, I would have to pull up my list in Webull. So I specifically have that one on my exchange. So I can look into that here in a second though, while you do some stuff. I've got Bitcoin and the crypto heat map pulled up. We've got Bitcoin up 0.93% after some decent dumpage yesterday. We've got Ethereum up 0.48%. BNB's up 0.46%. Solana is up a 0.93%. It just changed. We've got XRP down 0.75. We've got Dogecoin down 0.06. Toncoin is sitting up 0.93. Tron is up 0.2. Cardano is down 0.11. After some heavy dumpage, it was down like 7% yesterday. So that was good old Cardano doing Cardano things. We've got Avalanche up 0.85%. For the economic calendar today, we do have some information coming out of the European Union. That's going to be. Oh, let me get back to it. There we go. We've got the European Union's equivalent of a Fed speech coming in 8 minutes, as well as mortgage rates coming for the morning. We do have employment change coming out as well. That will be 7:15 my time, so 8:15 for the East Coast. We do have at 8 o'clock, so 9 and then 10:05 Eastern time. We have two Fed chairmen that will be giving some market sentiment. These are rated to be heavy market movers, so just something to keep in mind. See if they're in line with Fed Chair Powell or if they're gonna waffle on and serve us some stuff that doesn't
Chicken and
really matter.
waffles.
Yeah. Ooh, I haven't had chicken and waffles in forever. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I know what I'm
Chapow.
having. I think I know what I'm having breakfast for breakfast later. We
There we
do
go.
have crude oil information coming out as well. That's every Wednesday thing. So, something to keep your eye on with everything that's going on in the Middle East. We do have another Fed chair speaking at 10 my time, so that will be 11 on the East Coast. We do have one as well at 12:15 on the East Coast. Um, Other than that, it's not very heavy data until we get to Australia's balance of trade, imports and exports, which that will be touched on heavily in that Chinese article because all that inflow of capital will definitely impact imports and exports for people. I do have the crypto fear and greed pulled up, and the stock one. The stock market's still sitting in greed, 67. It is down 2 points after some slight dumpage on the stock side. But crypto is sitting back in neutral at 42, down 8 points after a large move down. So this is just what we were kind of hoping for. We will kind of see if we can find some footing and maybe not tick too far into the fear. But me personally, I want extreme fear and a buying opportunity. So I'm okay either way.
Yeah, I said a couple of weeks ago when or yeah, a couple of weeks ago before the that run up, when we were barely in fear, I was saying I want to see extreme fear. Not barely. We like went into extreme fear for like an hour.
Yeah.
And then like it was over. I'm like, and it was like 21. It was like the lowest we got. So I'm sitting here like, that's not it. That's not the one. That's why I think we have more.
Yeah, but with the current market sentiment, you could hit extreme fear and not tick down too low because people are, I don't know if you've seen all over, they're extremely bullish. It is coming up on that time frame. Everyone's talking Pumptober, shortly after November is when you normally see those bigger breakouts, and at least for Bitcoin, because all I trade is Bitcoin, and I use that information to get into some alts, but it's going to be the Bitcoin show. And when Bitcoin breaks out, that's normally that November time frame. And you see quarter one of the next year being extremely bullish. And that's what people are waiting for. They're ready for it. They're gearing for it. So even slighter pullbacks like the one we saw, we went from, down 5K, and you're now seeing massive 8-point drop on fear and greed, which I would expect to see even tomorrow. Even if we come up a little bit, people are still fearful and it will drop lower.
I
So
want below 10.
I good, we're gonna have to see my snap scenario and 44.8. So
That's my O. That's my not O snap scenario. My O snap scenario is 32.
I I I don't want to get there. So I do have limit orders at 44.8, and I'll just play it by ear if we get that far and go lower.
You want to go over this heat map?
Yep, we do have most of the liquidity sitting above us, which is at 63,268. So that's the heavy liquidity right above us. There's not really anything below us. If we switch to Model 2, there you can kind of see it's all light liquidity. So not really a liquidity grab to be had except to the upside, which I don't know if we take that today.
You want to
So
zoom out? Go to
zoom
like
out
a
to the
weekly or
I can go to the 3-day real quick, and yep, most of the liquidity still sitting above us. We do have a tiny bit that got taken out on the move down, which is kind of what I had my eye on, and kept talking about, was all the liquidity below us that we never like bounced back and forth to grab. We just stayed in that solid range. Even on the week, there's not really heavy liquidity below us. We'd have to drop to like a month. And that heavy liquidity on the monthly is sitting down at 47,000. So, just some more sitting at 43.6. I don't know if we get that low, but we will definitely be keeping our eyes out on this kind of correction that we've been seeing.
it's crazy, how all of this is played out to exactly my expectations.
Yeah.
But we are coming up at the top of the hour, so do you want to hurry up and run through the China news stuff?
Yeah, I can do that real quick. So,
Oh,
surprise stimulus work. The best week in 16 years for the Chinese stock market was built on hope. Worse, it was built on hope for more state intervention. One of the reasons its economy is in such trouble to start with. Start with the hope. China went for the triple boost last week, cut to interest rates, and another easing, loans to investors and companies to buy back their stock, and a promise of something fiscal in yet to be defined size. Investors love the idea of the central bank support for share buying. Not surprisingly, no need to rely on the national team of state directed buyers that stepped in after the 2015 bubble popped, in if the central bank will support prices directly. But it was the Politburo's use of the word fiscal and its surprise decision to focus its September meeting on the economy that really fired up hopes. If China starts doling out trillion yuan 1.4 billion US stimulus here and there could get the economy out of its housing induced slowdown. So it's kind of a little bit like an '08 type thing where the parallel for investors is 2008, where when China was the first to launch massive stimulus in response to the global financial crisis. It worked, and investors remember, but the stimulus also left China with a legacy of huge local government debt, overcapacity, and excess housing, worsened by the country's subsequent failure to shift from state directed investment to household consumption. The last stimulus mattered hugely to investors outside China, too, as the country sucked in resources for its infrastructure binge and helped support global demand. Smaller stimulus means it almost certainly won't have such a grandiose effect this time, though copper and other industrial metals had a very good week. If it turns out to be really big, it will be a bane rather than a boon. China has been exporting deflation and turning that into a source of global inflation, which would be upheld for the rest of the world. I know Piper's definitely talked a bit about this, and that's where I don't know if you had seen in Fed Chair Powell's speech where he talked about, oh, well, GDP might not be as important of a metric here coming up as gross national income, which will be heavily infected by Chinese dollars being injected into their system, the devaluing of their dollar, which means that they're able to export items that we will be paying more for. And
Yep.
that's them exporting their debt. They're very good at it. That's why they are pretty much the global supplier of goods. And the only person that really competes with them is India. So it's just something to keep in mind in that with with injection of liquidity into the system, you will see short-term help to the system, but long-term detriment because it still has to get paid back. And with Keynesian economics being that, oh, well, everyone dies, so it doesn't matter. And it's okay.
True.
And they just say Keynes said that everyone dies, so it doesn't matter. So just put it off on the next generation. And that generation gets in debt and they just put it off on the next generation. And then that generation gets in more debt to pay off the debt and they put that on to the next generation. And slowly you just keep injecting liquidity into the system and it doesn't work. We saw it in '08. We saw it in Japan in the 90s. We saw it in '08 again with China's stimulus package where, like, yes, it helped construction and everything else, but there was no demand for the housing. People couldn't get into their houses. There was delays on it. So, like, yes, we boosted one small sector of the economy that did not lift anyone else up, which is what you see over and over again. After a point when you cannot make any money off of that money that's in your system, what happens? Well, you get things like the Japanese carry trade, where instead of having my money where it's not going to make money, I'm going to take my Japanese dollar, I'm going to transfer it to a US dollar, and then I'm going to put that in the American system, where at least I know on average I'm going to get 10% yield in the stock market. And then when the time comes where you see a giant peak of your country's dollar against the US dollar, you unwind that trade, which is what we saw this year. And it's something that would take a long time to actually play out. And we won't see the consequences of all this time for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And that's not to mention everything else that's going on in the world. You do see, you did see consequences of '08 when America kind of crapped the bed and our housing market destroyed a global economy. places like Greece, who were at a debt to income ratio as a country, as a federal government, their debt to income ratio was massively overdone. So when you have people coming to call on your debt and you can't pay your debt, then you're injecting liquidity into the system, devaluing your dollar and paying your debt. And then you saw 4 years later, Greece was in the crapper hard. And they are just now, you're talking just now in the past, like before COVID, we're finally starting to see an uptick back from a back from a point where they were in the crapper and couldn't do anything. And then you saw COVID. And now we're back in that same position as a global economy where everyone injected liquidity into their systems. And now people are doing it again. I know
It's
it's
a
the
good
same.
thing.
Yeah, if you
It's a good thing for us that hold assets.
it's also a good thing if you're an economist that subscribes to Keynesian economics, because it doesn't matter. But
It doesn't
it
matter.
matters.
It
It
doesn't.
matters a lot.
It doesn't matter at all.
Well,
We all die. You can't take it with you, BC.
yes, but I can give it to my children.
No, because then they just become affluent little buttheads, and
Well,
they
that's why.
become pariahs on society.
Well, that's why I would give them a trust, and they can have $15,000 a year, and that would supplement anything.
Why
Where
am
it's
I?
like you're not going to spend all of that money, because you won't have all that money. That money will still be working to have you have more money, and that's how you actually create generational wealth. That's It's just my thoughts on that, because yeah, I get it that the spoiled children are like, but also if they do spend it out, would it matter? I already did my part.
But did you though?
Yeah,
But
my
did you
little
though?
eensy teensy bitsy part for my family.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get my green screen corrected.
It looks fine on the YouTube. Oh,
It's
occasionally I do see the little line that's going through your body.
yeah, that's the thing that I'm talking about.
We'll just move it up so it just goes through your head instead. Just be a floating head, David.
I could do that. I could definitely do that. See, look, I'm just over here chilling. Let's put me back. All right. Yeah. So yeah, Chinese liquidity. So you don't think? What was the name of the article? What was it? What was the headline?
uh, will it fix their system? And it looks like I need to head on out.
All right, cool. So Chinese liquidity will not fix the system, says BC, and I kind of
I,
agree. It's more of just kicking the can down the road. But sir, I hope you have an amazing day, and we will catch up with you in the chats and all of that.
most definitely. Everyone have a great day. I will see y'all in the chats.
Later, dude.
Later.
All right. Hey. All right. So no liquidity into the Chinese stocks. I don't have any other news stories, but we can go over some charts. So that's what we're gonna do. I don't know how to get rid of this line coming through me. Is it because of my mic? That's weird. I don't know what's going on with that, but we're just gonna have to deal with it live. All right. Let me try to bring up the chat real quick so I can see what you guys are saying. First, I want to say good morning to all of the beautiful people. Good morning, Moho. Good morning, Darren Does Things. DDT. Good morning, Randy Abidjit. STL Coin. Moho. The Biomex. All set. Mock Dutch, my friend. Hola, French toaster. And then we have, I think that is it. ALJR, 3-minute head and shoulders up to the 15-minute. This dude talking about 3-minute head and shoulders. Pull the range locally on the 15-minute and BTC about to be accepted into it with the value area low sitting at 60,537, says ALJR. Okay, so let's just go ahead and just start off here. I don't know why I closed this. I need to be able to see the chat. Okay, let's see here. All right, so Bitcoin, you know what's going on. We fell. Only those of us that predicted this would have predicted this. That was me. I was one of us. So yeah, we've fallen through the trend line. We've fallen pretty far now. If we go from the low before this low, now I'm gonna go with this range from this low to this high because we're fallen into that range. It's more so this low. Let's go take a fib and go from this low to this high and see where we are sitting. We came down almost to the platinum pocket, got a nice little close above the 786 and are pushed up against that golden pocket. Now we're sitting right back above the 786. Let me make this a little bigger so we can see. There we go. The 786 there. Yeah, so our levels to watch are going to be these lows here. Move here at 57,446, 55,570, and then I'll put the low here. Technically, we could stop at right just below this low at 53,613, and then we have 52,633. So just a few lows to watch for price to potentially come down to. Now, if I go ahead and pull a fixed range volume profile of this entire range, we can see that we are currently sitting at the 0.382. We closed below it. To me, that means we're going to go even lower. Typically, that's how it goes. If we don't get a big bounce off of the 382, then we pretty much get accepted into this range and head down a little lower. So the golden pocket looks like it would be a nice area to catch a bounce right there, because we did have some resistance on it over here. Hello. Resistance, and then we broke through it, kind of created a little bit of support, bounced off of it twice, and now we could be coming right back down to it. So I could look for a short-term scalp opportunity based on that. And also, if we were to get some type of, let's say, bounce like this, and this created some type of bullish divergence, or before even that, if price came down like this, like that, and then this created a bullish divergence of some kind on the oscillator, then we could consider firing off along here. And like I said, it would be just a scalp, so I would like place my my entry here, stop loss just below, I want to say this candle low right here, and then just ride this up. I think this could come back up to 63,138, but let's go ahead and pull a fixed range volume profile on this range and see. Oh, right there's the, so yep, we have the value area low right down there too, so building up confluence, and we have the point of control sitting right up here. Looks like we are bouncing off of this high volume node over here. And hello L Jones, good morning. Yeah, so high volume node right here. This could just be holding us up temporarily to where we could see a move up first before we move back down. So I could definitely see us moving up to that point of control at $63,150 and then coming down and then getting a bounce off of that golden pocket. Go ahead and draw a trend line down and then see if we can break above that. And then from there, we would look to try and possibly see if we could fire off another long. Or this might be the safer play to jump into this long. So, because trying to catch this is more like kind of trying to catch a falling knife, but this is also on the 4-hour chart. So our entry candles would be 15 minutes for me. I go from 4-hour down to the 15, and the 15 is where I would, look for the bullish divergence or something like that. So let's go ahead and jump down to the 15-minute. Actually, let's go back to the 4-hour because I didn't go over the oscillator at all. The money flow is coming out on the 4-hour. Our true 7 is almost peaking to the downside. It did tap the low point on the downside. We did get some bullish divergences in here and a reversal signal and some oversold signals. However, with everything else, including the trend fusion being down below the 0 line and in the red, a pop up off of this is likely to be what I was suggesting, which is a short-term bounce. But then that would ultimately lead to a further move, another move to the downside. So that's kind of what I'm looking for today, is just see if we can get a move up to that 63 100-ish level, and then from there take a short and see what happens. But on the smaller time frames, we can jump down to the 15-minute if we are expecting, or sorry, if we want to see that bounce. Then we want to go down to the lower time frames and see if we can find any point of entries. I could just draw this trend line right here. That looks like it might be actually pretty good, pretty solid. So what I would look for today is a break of that trend line, and then we would be breaking this high. If on this break we create some type of fair value gap, then that is what I would be looking for as my entry point. And then from there, it is put up my entry, put my stop loss just a little below the low, and then aim for that point of control right there. That point of control is going to be right there. That's a good 2.5 to 1 trade. Once it breaks this high here, if this was the market structure and it breaks this high here, that is when I move my stop loss to entry, and I'll let the rest run, and I'll wait to see. So, and at my first target, I'll go ahead and take 50% off the table, and then I go ahead and I move my stop loss up with it. One, to lock in more profits, but also to cover for fees. So, and then if it decides to run up a little higher, I can make a little extra on that, because we do have some sell side liquidity sitting up above these highs here and this high here. So we could definitely get a little bit of a short squeeze going into that. Let's see. Let me pull up another chart in the background. Let's get it going. All right, so Bitcoin, let's go ahead and let's go to my all Bitcoin chart. Let's go to the dominance. What's our dominance looking like? So we had been falling. Let's back up a little bit. Let's go to the daily. Okay, so we did fall. Now we're consolidating a little bit. So I've been aiming for this 60% on our Bitcoin dominance, and so I still kind of see us getting there. So nothing, we haven't put in new lows. I still don't know if this chart actually works like a regular chart. So I mean, it works like a regular chart, but think you know what I mean. Like the patterns and like lower lows and higher highs. Like I don't know if all of that is the same as your standard trading view chart. But yeah. Let's see. Is this thing live? Am I okay? You can hear me. All right. Making sure you can hear me. Oh, let's see. All right. So yeah, since I am expecting that, cool. But one thing that I need to go over because I've got 10 minutes left. Because I posted it on the. I'm not even gonna worry about this other thing that I pulled up because uh, I need to go over this other stuff. So yesterday I posted on the what do you call it, on X at Lunar Beaches. Follow me on X. Follow the whole team. Look, link in the description. Follow the whole team. Don't forget, we've got Chart Prime and deals and aviation coffee deals, and become a Piper Academy member below. Don't forget to hit that like button for us, guys, please, for me and for BC and for Piper Academy, so that we can help boost this channel in the algorithm and start getting more people in here that want to learn. So that's what it's all about. So yeah, yesterday I posted on Twitter about how, let me see if I can just read it off to you real quick. Oh yeah, I shared a chart. Let's go over to my trading home, go to the Dixie. All right, shared this chart right here. Okay, and I said I wasn't just looking at Bitcoin when I drew this up, talking about my forecast, my Bitcoin forecast, when I drew this up, so I can give you a point of reference over here. I think most of you have seen it, but if you haven't, this is it. Need to get rid of today's drawings. And that's it. All right. So what I've been thinking with this and with the Dixie and all that stuff. So my whole thing was, we down here, so this is before I drew all this up, we down here were expecting a rate cut up here, in my opinion. Well, in time. So, or let's see where it was. It was somewhere Wednesday 17th, I think. 18th. Might have been the 18th right here. So what I was expecting is for the rate cut to be temporarily bullish and leading up into it, because that's how it always happens, and that it was going to be a sell the news event, because if you look at the Dixie and you think about it, if you get a rate cut, what's going to happen? Well, I think, and it's the same reason why we saw like the Euro USD make a move to the upside, like I drew up over here. And the British pound made a move to the upside, and the Aussie dollar made a move to the upside, and the Japanese yen made a move to the upside. This one is inverted because it's USD versus JPY. And then the USD CAD made a move to the upside, again inverted. So point being is, I think what happens when we get a rate cut is fiat currencies start moving around. Fiat currencies start going more into demand. And I can see a lot of people going to borrow their currency, their sovereign currency, and then going and exchanging that for USD value. And that would give us a temporary push, a temporary demand push on the Dixie, on the dollar. But right now, because of everything else also seeing a spike in demand at the same time with the interest rate cuts, that's kind of kept the Dixie kind of flat. But once that stops, we can see the Dixie make a move to the upside. I don't know if it'll go back up to 103.50, But I would expect a move to the upside, and that move to the upside, we're inversely correlated, would help this move to the downside. And then to wrap it up, fall down because the dollars start going into assets, and then we turn on the money printer is what I'm thinking, or we get into more money printing. But so it's kind of the way that I was thinking about it all, and why I drew it up the way that I did. I mean, other than the fact that we're still just in our range, and it just seemed like it was just a deviation above the range, so we should at the very least see a deviation below this low here, and then move back to the upside. I drew this bottom rectangle wrong. Oh wait, that's not this. I'm silly. There we go. This low right here. So there we go. So yeah, I could see something like this playing out, because I mean that would just make this more of a flat correction in here, and then we could do an expanded flat where we run up both the highs and the lows, and then we go to the upside. Now the flat corrections, however, if you are in a downwards trend, tend to break to the downside. So that is why I think we break to the downside. And then we just fill the inefficiency on the weekly, which is a weekly fair value gap. And yeah, we come in here, we tap that. I'm looking at about 46, 340, somewhere in there. And then from there, we'll wrap this thing up. And that's when I think we see some upside. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's just being prepared for each and every scenario. Piper, is a little more bullish than me. Almost everybody's a little more bullish than me. Everybody expects this pullback right here, this first leg in yellow right here. Basically something like this is what everybody's kind of expecting, and then they expect for the bounce. Now I'll end up actually adjusting this to move this up a little bit because of this volume node over here coming into play. So this is what I've been expecting. I expect, okay, this is going to be the pullback after the short squeezes to the upside. We get the pullback, and then we get a bounce, and then what does that do? That induces more hopium into the market, and then we finish off the move with our open interest, because our open interest is sitting really high, back at levels that we were at when we hit the Japanese carry trade. So, and if I go ahead and I just do a quick bars pattern on the Japanese carry trade, and I take this and I just take it from the top here, it gets us down to the inefficiency. So, I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen, but it's best to be prepared for the anything. So, this is going to be, I would expect for this to be the bounce, and I do think that this would be the decision move here, the decision time. If it can break back above here, then it's on. I think this correction gets wrapped up. However, if we just do a little bounce like this and move lower, then we're probably going to come back lower. At the very least, sweep this low here and then move up. But we might see a capitulation type of event that brings it down even further. So, but yeah, let's see. What do we got? Yep, 1 minute left. All right, cool. I'm all sparkly, and I don't know how to. I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that. I wasn't having this issue last night when I was setting it all up, so I don't even know if you guys can see it, but I know I can. Let me see if I can see it. Let me see if I can see it. LOL Band-Aid. What did Band-Aid say? Look sus at Dave or Dutch. That's funny. Yeah, you can see it. Huh. I wonder why that is. I wonder why it's doing that. It wasn't doing that last night, but it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter because we're ending the show anyway. So, thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to BC Porkart for his news and his analysis. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. I hope you all have an amazing day. Be careful out there. If you're gonna trade, make sure you use a stop loss. Stick to it. Don't add to losing trades, and let some winners run for once, and trail your stop loss with them, and watch your gains start to get bigger and bigger when you do stuff like that, because that is proper risk management, and that is how you actually make money in trading. So cutting losers early, letting winners run. That's the one. Don't forget to join the Piper Academy Discord, link in the description. What else do we have? What do we have going on tonight? Well, today we have the morning market report at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we have the crypto nightcap tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Piper Academy. So check those out. Monday through Friday for the morning market report, Monday through Thursday for the crypto nightcap, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you missed yesterday's, go back and watch the new show, the Piper Academy Technical Analysis Show. I don't know what it's called, but it comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Piper and FD White. So go ahead and check out yesterday's. It's a good one. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Do we have anything going on tonight? I can't think of anything on the top of my head, but yeah. Don't forget Chart Prime, something 45% off, something like that. Blowfin is the exchange that I use. And yeah, none of this is financial advice, but I hope you all have an amazing, beautiful, wonderful, radical day. Ride the waves. Wake up. It's going to be a good day. Peace out.